This is my Heroes TV Show non-sports cards collection. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Now, what if I told you that Topps had possibly the biggest visual artist to have ever done sketch cards contribute 56 Heroes sketch cards? And if that wasn't enough, there are Heroes sketch cards with Stan Lee that even the most thorough Marvel collectors don't seem to know about. These cards were released 3 times, twice by Topps in 2008, and later by Rittenhouse Archives in 2010. And in some ways, they are a completely different beast compared to what we get these days. Let's talk about them. The first highly anticipated Heroes Volume 1 release caught collectors' attention with its mix of autograph, wardrobe relic, and sketch cards. Although the autograph lineup was thorough, these cards, being sticker autographs, got to my mind later on superseded by on-card autographs from Rittenhouse Archives. Across the Topps Hero sets, no inscriptions were ever reported being seen to the best of my knowledge, which is understandable as the small sticker space limits creativity. Nevertheless, the Topps sets included several key character signers who never did on-card autographs for the Rittenhouse Archives Heroes set. Out of those, cards of Ali Larter, who played Nikki Sanders, appear to command big premiums on the secondary market. Volume 2 autograph cards have a slight design flaw because the white box beneath the autograph sticker is not fully covered by the sticker. A little known fact about the Topps Heroes sets is that on-card autographs were distributed through a raffle at the 2007 San Diego Comic-Con, with each signer limited to a print run of just 20. The Volume 1 set included memorabilia cards for 4 different characters. Matt Parkman's police uniform card got famously overprinted to insane levels. Isaac Mendez's painting short costume cuts feature varying amounts of paint splatter stains. Claire Bennett's cheerleading outfit wardrobe cards come with either one of 3 red fabric variants or white fabric pieces. Some of the white fragments show what collectors believe to be fake blood added by the costume department. The white costume cuts with a greater presence of said weathering are rather rare. There is also a Claire Bennett's cheerleading patch card variant, but the included cut wardrobe pieces don't match the look of the patch pictured on the back of the card. The patch cards publicly photographed so far have shown fabric in white and red and yellow, or a combination of all 3 colors. This suggests the costume pieces were taken from the 3-color ribbon pattern at the bottom of the skirt, rather than from the actual cheerleading patch. The Volume 2 set offered a bigger selection of costume cards. New really rare double costume autograph, and double autograph cards were introduced. Claire Bennett, who was the face of the show alongside Peter Petrelli, has costume cards featuring either dark blue or light blue fabric, with the light blue cuts appearing to be rarer. Now, where the Topps sets really shine is the sketch cards. I promised you some heavy hitters at the start of the video. Well, here they come. Stan Lee made cameos in many productions, and Heroes Season 1 was no exception. There are sketch cards, sometimes referred to as sketchographs, that were actually drawn and signed by Stan Lee in older Marvel trading card sets. Side note, the embossed skybox seal on the 98 Marvel The Silver Age sketch cards can be hard to spot in photos. And as far as I know, graders don't note its presence or absence on slab labels. I believe licensed sketch cards featuring Stan Lee's likeness are far rarer than licensed sketch cards done by him. This is because, as far as I know, artists working on Marvel TV and movie sketch card sets were generally instructed to avoid using the actors' likenesses, with X-Men 3 being the rare exception. But here, in the Heroes sets, artists had the freedom to capture the actors' likenesses. Some artists opted for photorealism, while others chose comic book adjacent styles that echoed the illustrated aesthetic featured in the show. Either way, as a result, there are sketch cards with Stan Lee's likeness that went through the full proper approval process, which to my mind is insanely cool. The sketch card on screen features Hiro Nakamura, who at least to me is basically a modern-day Don Quixote. And here on this channel, the man of La Mancha holds a special place.
It's time for Don Quixote!
Tim Sale was part of the props department for the show. He worked on Heroes from its earliest stages, and to some extent his efforts were one of the reasons the show got picked up in the first place. He was the main creative mind behind the artwork in the show. The Isaac Mendes paintings featured in Heroes were drawn by Tim on 11x17 comic book paper in black, white, and gray. As he explained in interviews, he was colorblind and couldn't paint. The way he described his color blindness is that he could, for the most part, see color but couldn't create it. So he developed a technique where he used a lot of gray, blurred ink, and charcoal and similar things to simulate a painted technique. Then the prop department had someone else, I think Dave Stewart, digitally color the artwork. Next, the images had to be printed on canvas for the show. Isaac Mendes' studio in the show was designed with Tim's input and inspired by his own real-life workspace. A few of the iconic original Tim Sale drawings for the show were publicly auctioned off in 2007 by NBC, with the proceeds going to the Epilepsy Foundation. The included canvas prints weren't advertised as screen-use props, as far as I know. Generally, searching for public sales or information about the show can be tiresome, because both Heroes and Sale return lots of unrelated results. Sometimes adding the year of the first season or NBC helps narrow the search. Occasionally, the canvas prints come up for sale. Some come with some sort of NBC certificate of authenticity, stating that the item was screen-used, and others without one. I wouldn't begin to know how to verify whether an item was in fact screen-used or not. Beyond the original artwork seen on canvases, the TV show featured its own screen-seen comic book, Ninth Wonders. It was used in the plot and written by the same Isaac Mendes character who was a painter. I know Tim Sale contributed art to these comics as well, but I'm not sure if he did all the penciling himself or if someone else helped out in a smaller capacity. Replicas of sorts of the comics were actually released for fans to collect at some point, but the interiors appear to be an afterthought, as the production often didn't need much beyond the covers. Wikipedia has links to some archived NBC Heroes webcomics that accompanied episodes as they aired. However, these were really simple and quite different from Ninth Wonders. And all that introduction brings me to the sketch cards. Tim contributed 50 grayscale pack-inserted and 6 artist-returned sketch cards to the set. Black and white or grayscale sketch cards don't often get the spotlight these days. But seeing as Tim's original artwork for the show and beyond was done in black, gray, and white, these sketch cards stay true to his creative process, just the way one would hope they would be. Both those Heroes base sets featured subsets celebrating Tim Sale's artwork. These cards were tastefully designed, with only a subtle logo on the front, leaving the art otherwise unobstructed. This makes them perfect candidates for display. Around the same time, Rittenhouse Archives also released Tim Sale art on Batman Archives insert cards. Circling back to the sketch cards, the Heroes sketch cards are especially collectible, more so than with many other sets, because the art and comics were consistently used to drive the show's plot. Moreover, the artwork itself was often collected or sought after within the story, like the Linderman collection, or Noah going to Odessa, Ukraine to find crucial paintings. Since Heroes, I can't think of another high-profile TV show where original art played such a central story-driving role. Many of the artists who contributed hero sketch cards were fans of the show, and it really shows. Personally, I usually gravitate toward a photorealistic style, but this set might be the one that challenges that preference. The on-screen artwork is predominantly, if not entirely, comic book style, which gives the sketch cards in that same vein an added flair. A pattern you'll notice is that many artists produced both color and either black and white or grayscale sketch cards, depending on their style. The ratios varied, but across the entire run, color sketch cards are definitely rarer. I'm hoping to add a color one to my collection someday. While some repeat sketch cards exist, they are not that common. Often the repeats aren't exact duplicates, as artists might have used different colors for each version. Both sets had puzzle sketch cards with parts of the puzzles split across multiple boxes. Some artists also created complete puzzles as part of their Artist Return sketch cards. The Volume 2 sketch card stock has a blue tint, making it easy to distinguish from Volume 1. I don't know the reason for this choice, although the show did definitely play with applying a blue color palette to certain scenes. This was confirmed by the director in the DVD commentaries for Season 1, Episode 16. There are sketch cards that use as their reference either one of Team Series artworks for the show or the actual scene predicted by the painting. So in a sense, I feel like these sketch cards, despite having different visual styles and each artist's own spin, pay tribute to Team's work in a way. One thing to be aware of with sketch cards, as usual, is aftermarket sketch cards, as these sometimes pop up on eBay. When these sets were released, people were generally much more active on forum boards than they are today. So there is a plethora of interesting information out there for anyone looking to learn more about these cards. So far, I have a Volume 1 sketch of Candice Wilmer creating the illusion of transforming into Claire. Some characters were definitely depicted less frequently than others, and Candice falls into the rather rare category, methinks. I also have a brilliant Volume 2 sketch by the late Chris Henderson, featuring Claire in a photorealistic style. The hero sketch cards often depict drawn blood, wounds or battle gear, which is generally rare for sketch cards in other projects. Characters are frequently shown using their powers, expressing emotions, or engaged in action, making for a refreshing alternative to the usual portrait-style sketches. The characters' superpowers in the show were done mostly with practical effects rather than CGI, which helps the show hold up well. Although Topps never officially reported box counts, the sketch card odds combined with self-reported numbers of contributed sketch cards by artists allow us to roughly estimate the box counts. But I want to emphasize roughly, since not all artist card counts are known, and some collectors opening boxes back in the day complained about getting dud boxes. For a change, Rittenhouse Archives numbers their boxes and provides the total run information. Also, interestingly, their Heroes boxes featured a sticker advertising 6 autograph cards inside. That number of autographs in a regular hobby box is almost unheard of. You'd also get one relic card, either a costume card or a numbered prop card. I like the wording on the relic card packs better than what Topps offered, as it more clearly states who wore the costume and when. As usual with the costume cards, the cut fragments come in different patterns, keeping things interesting. This is the set I got my Hayden Panettiere as Claire Bennett autographs from. The card featuring her in the cheerleading outfit from Season 2 is an archive box exclusive. Given the 4500 box run, cases containing 12 boxes, and archive boxes being offered as incentives for purchasing 12 cases, one could expect the archive box exclusive autograph to be much rarer. But these aren't that rare on eBay. Here's the thing, Back in the day, some Rittenhouse Archives sets included very rare, unmarked archive boxes inside regular cases. This was alongside the marked archive boxes that were distributed as multi-case purchase incentives, as advertised. Reportedly, on the bottom inside of such an unmarked archive box, you could find a sticker marking it as an archive box. I think Heroes was one of the releases where these rare unmarked archive boxes were randomly placed inside regular cases. These days, I believe there are no more randomly inserted unmarked archive boxes, though I can't pinpoint exactly when that practice stopped. At some point, Rittenhouse Archives introduced official hot boxes, and some releases began getting incentive boxes rather than archive boxes. One example of a set with hot boxes is the Doctor Who 11-12 release. Another thing is, people have reported getting multi-case dealer incentive autographs out of regular Heroes hobby boxes. All this might seem like a lot of irrelevant information at this point, since hardly anyone is opening boxes anymore. But there is a collector base that strongly prefers cards that could be pulled from normal, regular hobby boxes. And given the possible presence of unmarked archive boxes a hobby box or case buyer could maybe get, those exclusive cards might suddenly meet the criteria for that collector base to be interested in. In 2007, 258 West Authentic released on-card autograph cards featuring an image of Hayden, one could say resembling Claire. These cards measure 3.5 by 5 inches and are called mini prints, though they basically look like oversized cards. The total of 258 cards matches the company name 258 West Authentic. A few marquee Heroes actors have signed similar cards. And as far as I know, some of the original art was done by Jason Palmer, who also later contributed sketch cards for the Topps Heroes Volume 1 set. I kickstarted my Heroes collection with Hayden cards since she was not only the face of Heroes, but also starred as one of the leads in the Nashville TV show right after, a show I really liked. Their Nashville cast soundtrack on Spotify is top-notch. Part of the cast even went on to do Nashville in concert tours, with the Royal Albert Hall performance officially released as a proper concert film. As usual, the Rittenhouse Archives full bleed card design looks really good. Thankfully, all photos feature characters in authentic TV show backgrounds, which helps with immersion. In Heroes Archives, the most in-demand autograph next to Hayden's is Kristen Bell as Elle Bishop. Her character had the power to generate electricity and could be pretty sadistic at times. There are a couple minor characters for whom I was able to find inscription autograph cards. David Lawrence portrayed the villain Eric Doyle with puppeteering abilities in seasons 3 and 4. As his Wikipedia page explains, the number 17 in Roman numerals is part of his professional name to distinguish himself from other professionals with the same name. The Rittenhouse Archives Heroes base set is made up of close-up character photos. It feels very uninspiring. It just doesn't convey any story or spark. To make matters worse, every character has two very similar photos on each side of the card. With all that said, I think if you pick the best parts from both the Topps and Rittenhouse Archives releases and combine them, you end up with something really solid. And even though some cards are more than a decade and a half old, they still feel interesting. A huge part of that is thanks to the sketch cards, because with those you never really fully know what might be waiting for you around the corner.